as Martin Scorsese would say, absolute cinema. It's one of the many peaks of 1956 because it signifies a profound shift in Chuck Jones' storytelling. The coyote is no longer just a hungry predator. He's a fanatic, more obsessed with forcing his own traps to work than actually catching the roadrunner. It's a masterclass in psychological comedy, and it's one of the best moments of 1956. So welcome back to another installment of the Year in Review videos as part of the Looney Tunes Review project. Today we are looking at 1956. The year 1956 was defined by significant staffing movements and cross-pollination between the animation units following the studio shutdown. Writer Michael Maltese returned to Chuck Jones' unit after a brief absence, writing some amazing non-roadrunner shorts like Deduce, you say.
In a moment there will come a knock at the door. Answer it. My pants are caught in a nail.
Meanwhile, writer Ted Pierce became the studio's utility writer, assisting Jones on Bugs' Bonnet.
You know, I think it always helps a picture to have a romantic ending.
While heavily driving a new television parody trend over in Bob McKimson's unit.
George. That's my brother George.
Warren Foster, normally paired with Friz Freleng, also stepped in to help McKimson, who was finding his footing post-shutdown. In the voice acting booth, we saw a major shift. Stan Freberg became increasingly busy with his own rising career, opening the door for Dawes Butler to take on more significant roles.
Whoever has the biggest hand wins. He wins, see? Cut it out, can't ya?
1956 also marked the official debut of June Foray as Witch Hazel, taken over from Bea Benaderet, just like she did when she took over Bea Benaderet as the voice of Granny.
Crazy me. That was my sweeping broom.
We even saw a rare instance of Mel Blanc being entirely absent from a short, leaving the vocal duties on Rocket by Baby solely to Foray and Butler.
But Martha, why can't we keep him in the house? I mean, somebody might see him.
Because he's our baby, Joseph Wilbur.
And in a classic McKimson move, radio and movie star Lloyd Perriman was brought in for a one-off voiceover in Weasel Stop.
Fool hens make more fuss than a hog with a snout caught in a knot hole.
And this was something that McKimson would sometimes do. He would bring in some outside talent for a single short, maybe two, before disappearing from the Looney Tunes landscape forever. When looking at the output, Chuck Jones arguably had the strongest artistic year. With the return of layout artist Maurice Noble, Jones' style evolved. He began incorporating the scratchy, ink-heavy influence of British illustrator Ronald Searle. Jones perfected the airtight layout, staging poses so brilliantly that the animation was essentially just in-betweening, allowing static, deadpan expressions to generate massive laughs. Jones also heavily tapped into the 1950s space age and sci-fi craze, delivering atmospheric, genre-bending shorts like Rocket Squad and Rocket by Baby. Friz Freleng, meanwhile, established himself as the absolute master of economic animation. The shrinking budgets continued, so Freleng continued to lean heavily into a less is more approach. He relied on off-screen action, Treg Brown's masterful sound effects, and static aftermath poses to imply violence cheaply but effectively. And this was a strategy that Hanna-Barbera would eventually use once their studio would open up a few years later. While he occasionally ran on autopilot with predictable gags plus reused gags, though to be fair, these shorts were never binge-watched, so the audiences wouldn't have known nor cared. But his unparalleled musical timing kept the unit's output incredibly consistent. And then there's Bob McKimson. McKimson and Ted Pierce made television parodies their defining feature this year. They heavily embraced the pop culture zeitgeist of the time, but these weren't just surface-level spoofs. Stupor Duck wasn't just a comic book parody, it was specifically mocking the Adventures of Superman TV show.
Faster than a bullet. More powerful than a speeding locomotive. Able to leap the tallest buildings.
They tackled the Honeymooners twice, and remarkably, Jackie Gleason famously demanded to see the Honeymouses and personally gave it his stamp of approval.
One of these days, Alice! One of these days! Pow! Right in the kisser!
However, McKimson's unit undeniably struggled the most with post-shutdown budget cuts. The animation is frequently stiffer and less energetic compared to his earlier years, and his unit often clashed with the flat stylized UPA aesthetic that was taken over the industry. In terms of character evolution, 1956 is the year the roster essentially was locked in, though aside from Daffy Duck, who is still actively cementing his greedy, selfish actor persona in shorts like A Star Is Born.
What a job for a duck with my talents. Pushing a broom, while others with absolutely nothing on the ball get all the breaks.
But almost every other major character was set for how they would act for the rest of the Golden Age. We saw Nasty Canasta get a major redesign, shifting from a Daffy antagonist to squaring off against Bugs Bunny and Barbary Coast Bunny. We also got to Harry's Human, which gave us the first follow-up to the Bugs and Wile E. Coyote team-up since 1952, complete with the Coyote's cultured speaking voice.
Finished. Wiley, you're such a genius!
Over in the Freleng unit, two crows from Tacos introduced Jose and Manuel. These two would have a bizarre legacy, going on to becoming cats in one entry, then mice, and then back to being crows. Whether they are the exact same characters or just recycled names is up for debate, but their debut here is still quite fascinating for that reason.
He was an awful big fellow.
Say, but I could lick him. He don't fight fair.
The year also featured several bizarre one-shots. Freleng delivered Yankee Dood It, the third and final edutainment short underwritten by the Alpha P. Sloan Foundation.
Spend his profit on machinery? When does it all end?
It never ends.
And McKimson gave us Mixed Master, a very strange domestic sitcom spoof that clashed flat UPA backgrounds with 1940s style brushstrokes.
Robert is a mother, aren't you, Roberta?
Even with all this history, there are about to be some misses. As always, here are my least favourite from each of the main directors. For Chuck Jones, it has to be Heaven Sent. Now, there's no denying that the short looks amazing. In fact, all the Pepper Le Pew shorts, even if you don't like them, you can't deny that they look amazing. But it's just generic. Granted, if this is someone's first Pepper Le Pew short, this might very well be their favourite because they've had nothing else to compare it to. But objectively, it's a slow Pepper Le Pew short that just simply goes through the motions without offering any new comedic beats. It was as though Jones wanted to get that one out of the way so he can tackle on other better shorts. Is it the worst thing though? Not really, but there are definitely better Pepper entries and better entries overall in 1956. For Friz Freleng, has to be Yankee Dood It. I mean, the tonal whiplash here is jarring. Stopping a cartoon for a literal lecture on 1950s capitalism and dividends, putting aside whether you agree with the capitalist message or not, you can't deny that the whole cartoon just stops dead in its tracks. It has some funny gags in it, particularly the Rumpelstiltskin gag, but ultimately, this one feels as though Friz Freleng couldn't wait to finish directing those shorts for the Sloan Foundation so he could just move on. But it's not all bad. You got Elmer as an elf, so at least there's something good about it. For Bob McKimson, it has to be Half Fair Hair. It's a weak, forced parody of the Honeymooners. Unlike the Honey Mouses, which is a proper parody of the Honeymooners, here you just have Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton as hobos, and nothing more. It was as though Ted Pierce loved the characters, and he just wanted them in this short, just cause. And that's not a good way to make a short, in my opinion. Plus, the animation's incredibly stiff a lot of the time, and it's not particularly funny. But hey, the highs of 1956 are legendary at least, so let's look at my absolute favourites, and let me know in the comments whether you agree with my choices for least favourite and my absolute favourites. So, my favourite McKimson of the year has to be Stupor Duck. And this is a pitch-perfect parody of the Adventures of Superman TV show, as I mentioned earlier. I'm a huge Superman fan, and knowing the context of this as a parody of the TV show, I get extra thrill out of that. Sure, the animation, again, McKimson's unit wasn't the strongest at this time. It was still funny, and that's the main thing. Essentially, it was as though McKimson was doing his own version of what Jones was doing, which was having Daffy more or less be a bad actor that was somehow still able to get all these roles, so here he's playing Superman. But it's a wonderful parody, and there's a reason why this one is fondly remembered. The best Freleng? You might be surprised, but honestly, it's Napoleon Bunny Part, and this is just a funny, anachronistic time travel romp, and I just thought this one was incredibly funny, and I'm so glad that instead of using Yosemite Sam, which is what you would expect Freleng to use in this situation, although the idea of Yosemite Sam being Napoleon is actually quite intriguing now that I think about it, but this is just a nice standard Freleng short of the time that's incredibly funny. It has a cross-dressing moment, it's got wonderful off-screen gags, that interesting Funko Pop design that I like around this time. Definitely a highlight of this year. The best Bugs Bunny short though would have to be Broomstick Bunny for me. It's a classic. Some may like Bewitched Bunny more, but honestly, depending on the day you ask me which one do I prefer, Broomstick Bunny or Bewitched Bunny, I might say one or the other. I find the two of them just interchangeable and they're both great shorts, but this one is so gorgeous to look at with that wonderful, crazily designed background. And June Foray's debut as Witch Hazel, it's iconic. Plus the ending is legendary for parodying June Foray herself. But the best Chuck Jones and best Daffy Duck short for the year has to be Deduce, you say. It is a masterpiece. The Ronald Searle-inspired designs and the contrast between Porky's serious Watson and Daffy's egomaniacal Sherlock Holmes, it's flawless. This is about as perfect as a cartoon can be, and it's one that I personally revisit very often, and I always discover something new about it. It's one of those rare 10 out of 10s for me. 1956 was yet another amazing year for Warner Bros. Animation, pushing the studio firmly into the modern aesthetic. And now, before we officially close the book and move on to 1957, let's take one final rapid-fire look back at every single short released in 1956, along with a funny moment from each. But definitely let me know in the comments, what are your favourites and least favourites of 1956? But as always, thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the showcase.
Well, you see, sir, I was just out shooting wabbits with my gun.
All right, dog face. How come every other private in this man's army's got a rifle and you've got a gun?
Harder! Harder! Give a good yank!
Not that hard.
And drippings, apple squeezings, chicken juice. Oh.
I want to bury the hatchet. Not in your pointed head, boy. I brought you a peace offering. Here.
My interview with the chief was brief and to the point. He wanted me to find out who the flying saucer bandit was, and then to place him under arrest. I consented.
Not you, Mr. Simmons. I was talking to... Someone here was making a noise. Yeah. I will conquer the world.
Pardon me, sir, but I think I'll reconsider and withdraw me gold. I have a few minor purchases to make.
I'm real sorry, bud, but this bank is folding.
Oh, no!
Hey, Ralph, you look like a boiled lobster.
I look like a boiled lobster. Well, I'm not a boiled lobster!
She with a crouch.
I got it!
You're gonna get it.
Punt formation!
I goofed. Old broken down father uninfest. One old broken down mouth infested house.
Hey, man, you're not broken down. You're a real cool cat.
Yeah.
Action! What a cinch this scene is. Makeup! Take over. Your name? Speak up, man.
Shropshire Slasher.
Occupation?
Shropshire Slasher.
All the Wobblies are missing. Where's Company W?
Those elves are helping the shoemaker.
Shoemaker? What shoemaker?
The shoemaker of the story, The Shoemaker and the Elves. You remember?
What?
Welcome, welcome to You Beat Your Wife. Say the magic word and you win $100. Now, what is your name, sir, and what do you do?
I'm a foot. I'm a hunter. I'm hunting for a wabbit, a quasi fresh wabbit.
Oh, a fresh hair fiend, huh?
Meet, meet.
¿Por qué me pegaste en mi head?
Hey, Ralph, we got company.
Oh, no.
One of these days, I'm gonna have that spring fixed.